Well, hi everybody again, and tonight we're going to do another meditation. So thank you for joining me. Let's just adjust this camera slightly. It's a little bit too over there. You can't tell until you actually go live, you know. Right, that's a bit better. Yeah, sorry about this, slight adjustments. Now hopefully you can all hear me. And tonight we're going to do I think you have an advert coming in, so I'm going to stall a moment while you just watch the advert. So just before everybody joins us, hi everyone. Just as you're joining us, let me just sort of say for anybody that's coming to this video after we've been live, that these are consecutive, they're non-consecutive rather. You can come into these lessons at any point. So you can pick them up afterwards, after we've been live, and get just as much benefit and enjoy them, you know, and use them over and over again if you find them helpful. And each time I'm going to sort of develop a little bit of the one aspect of the meditation each time. I'm going to kind of focus on something, one aspect slightly differently. And tonight, the main thing is going to be about when we get to that, you know, we go through this whole process, which I'll go through all again for you, but we go through this process of opening up to spirit and becoming more and more tuned in to the spirit world. And then we go into this point where I take us into the main meditation, sort of like a world of light, you know. And this time, when we get into that state, I'd like you all to focus and connect with your spirit guides. And that's going to be one of my main focuses tonight, about spirit guides, which I'm going to tell you something about. And then I'm going to take you into the meditation, and then I hopefully going to help you connect to those spirit guides and helpers that gather around all of us who are spiritually open, whether we're developing as mediums or we're developing spiritually. The higher beings will always come to us to be able to help us and guide us on the path. And we'll be able to ask some questions at the end and do quite a lot. So those coming to us who have come here aren't live, if you want to be part of the live transmissions, do please join as a patron, because everybody with me tonight is a patron. And thank you, you guys, for supporting this channel, and in particular helping us with the spiritual work that we're trying to do with the patron channel. And as soon as this coronavirus and things is out of the way, we're going to start the first steps towards a centre, which is going to be really a broadcasting place, somewhere we can broadcast in a studio setting and have much more flexibility and control over the way we're doing things. And we're already progressing things quite a lot as it is. So, and don't forget, also, you can comment at any stage through this. It's quite useful to make comments too, because I will go back to these live feeds later on and have a look at your comments. And, you know, if you've had put questions, I do sometimes try to answer people on the comments of this channel. Or if you're a patron, I'll sometimes answer questions for you if you send me by private message, or particularly longer ones I'll do with a public message, because then everyone can share in it. So thank you for joining me. So tonight, spirit guides. So before we begin a meditation, I always like first to do a mantra. Now, it's not essential that you do a mantra, but if there is a mantra that you like, it always kind of helps to have a mantra of some sort, because for me, it roots me, you know. If I'm going to do a period of meditation and I've only got a few minutes, literally a few seconds, I might just sit down and just do the mantra. Or I might do the mantra in a few moments and then shoot off and go what we have to go shopping and what we've got to do if there's something urgent in life that's preventing me from doing my meditation. Because the mantra roots you. It's almost like, in a way, an affirmation. It says to us, yes, okay, I've only just touched the mat, as it were. I've not done my full meditation, but I've made the effort to be there, right? And even if there wasn't enough time, I was able to be there, even might be 2 minutes, you know? Because it's the important thing with your meditations is to set up some routine if you can. You know, if you can set up a routine, it's like your spirit is then ready, you know? And if you work like me with the spirit world, you know, it means the spirit are ready for you too. And even though you might have just been there, like I say, for a few seconds, and that's fine. You know, you've been there. So the mantra I'm going to just do now for us is the Gayatri mantra. You normally with the Gayatri, you say it 3 times. It's a protective mantra. It's also one of the oldest mantras of all time. It's thousands of years old. They think it's the oldest prayer in history. Known. I mean, there's obviously older ones still. And it's about really, it's a mantra that asks us to become one with the light, and the light might be for everybody, really, basically, in essence. Okay, so I'm just going to do that mantra. If you know it, you can chant it with me. Om Bhuvah Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhuvah Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhuvah Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Shanti 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 Om. Now, when we do a mantra, it helps a resonance. There's a resonance that you'll get from a mantra, and I suggest you can do whatever mantra that suits you. You know, simple ones, a Christian one if you're that way inclined to, or whatever. You know, something that helps you to connect, something that is your way in, as it were. Now, as you know, I combine a lot of Eastern and Western ideas with what I teach, and particularly where I've come from a background of spiritualism. I'm very interested in spiritualist teachings, theosophical teachings, and Hindu teachings particularly. But all of them come from the same source. And really, I draw from lots of different things. So this is really my way of teaching. It's different to what you might get if you went to a yoga class, and it's very different also to what you would get in a spiritualist organization. So I'm trying to bring these two worlds together because it's worked for me, and I hope it can work for you too. So, spirit guides. So we're going to connect, like I said, with the spirit guides. And you have to ask yourself, really, you know, when you start to get these communications from the spirit guides, obviously one of the questions you might ask yourself is it real? You know, is this real, or is this my imagination? And, you know, any sensible person would ask that, wouldn't you? You're not just going to just believe everything that happens to you. You're going to say, am I really getting this? Is this really happening to me? You know, am I doing something in my mind that is like a disassociation of some sort, or splintering off part of my personality that becomes separate to myself? And I remember when I first got really strong connection with one of my spirit guides, I asked him, I said, you know, are you real? You know, how can you prove it to me? Are you real? And his answer was, does it matter? and that kind of took me by surprise, because I thought, actually, does it really? Because in essence, the idea was, don't get too focused upon who this teacher is, you know, get focused on what the message is behind it is, you know, what is the message for you, you know? So it's important that you get this idea that, you know, what we're about is not necessarily getting too obsessed with the spirit guides, but get obsessed with the awakening, you know, with the direct realization of truth. So that was where I feel I want to go with that. And also when you do get to the point where I take you through the meditation, where you start to feel a connection with the spirit guides, because I'll talk you into this, and we're obviously using our imagination to open up real things, so the imaginations are way in, right? The visualizations are our way in to real processes, both in the body when we open up the spiritual body, and also in our own self with our thoughts and our understanding and our awareness of ourselves, and also our connection, if we want to go this way, which I'm taking as with the spirit world and those teachers that come and help us from the spirit. And with all this, what I'm doing, some people can take this and go on to become mediums themselves, because that's part of what I'm teaching here. But I'm not. You don't have to go and become a medium or a healer or any of it. You can be here just to learn and to become part of the connection with the next life, and this life in particular. So basically that's some of the basic things about the guides are that the guides, we don't know who they are really. Sometimes they can give us proof, and we might get something in life that will give us proof. For example, I've had situations where a message has come through me, through my spirit guide, when I've gone very deep and in a trance, for example, with my circles in the past. A message has come through to another circle, and that same guide has then spoken to another medium in another circle and given the same message. And then we've contacted each other, and we find that the guides have said the same things in two different places at the same time to give us proof of their reality. So there's things that can happen to give you proof. But I'm more focused in just your personal experience tonight, and whether you can connect a little bit with your guides. Don't get carried away with it. Just treat it as an experiment. See where it takes you. See if it's interesting to you. If it doesn't appeal to your reason, if you don't feel it feels right to you, then reject it. Because we're here to learn. We'll learn from our personal experience and what we know to be true. No teacher, me or anyone, can substitute for your personal experience. So we're going to go in, and first of all, I'm going to take us through this idea of the opening again. Now, you remember we've done it a few different ways. We basically have this concept that below us there's a light, which I visualize as a sea of light, right? And we'll visualize that again. And then we take the energy, which I particularly like to focus in the idea of light, because I find that is closest to the idea of this energy, which we call prana, the life force. I see it as a light, really, but it can be sound and it can be sensation. So if we then take this, first of all, we open the middle of the forehead, the chakra in the middle of the forehead, which is the third eye. Then we bring the light up through the body, up the spinal system, through the chakras and into the third eye, so we illuminate that. And then we go back again and we bring the light up through the third eye and eventually through the top of the head, through the Sarashara, and open up the crown of the head with light. And then together we step into the light, as it were. We step into the infinite light, and then we're at one with first of all, with the spirit itself, the prana that's infinite, the absolute state. And close to that we are, close to the blissful state. It's deeper, you can go into that. But there we will find the connection with our spirit guides, and that's what we're going to do. Now, on the way in tonight, I'm taking this slightly differently, because I want us to, there's different ways that you can open the energy systems of the chakras and the spinal system to open yourself up. And each person will find their own way. So I'm giving you slightly different variations all the time with slightly different emphases. Now, that channel that runs from the base of the spine into the third eye center, it runs up the spine, right? But it's part of our astral system. It's our etheric body where it lies. And right down the middle of the spine, there's three channels, right? There's Ida and Pingala, which are like masculine, feminine, yin and yang type energy, right? And down right through the middle, and this is where I want to focus, there's another channel called the Sushuma. Now, this is a very fine, thin, minuscule channel that runs up the spine, which carries the pranic energy. And although it's very tiny, it carries a vast energy with it. This is where the kundalini energy moves up, right? It's been described as so fine, it's like a spider's web. You know, you think how fine a spider's web is, and that silvery sort of feel and almost ethereal feel of the spider's web, that is what runs up our spine, right? So that's what we're going to focus on. And then we're going to brighten that. So I want to teach you tonight, you know, it's part of your visualization. And don't get too carried away with it. Don't get worried if you can't focus on it. It's a mental experiment to help you to connect. We just do it different ways each time. But we're going to focus on the idea of this very thin, fine, fibrous light that runs up the spine. And we're going to take the light up there and brighten it, just like we would brighten a light bulb, right? And then we're going to then move into that. So it's a slightly different method to what I talked to you last time, but it's basically the same method, but approached in a different way. Okay, so enough talking. Now let's start the practice. Okay, so let's get relaxed, all right? So make sure you're sat comfortably. Hopefully there's not too much distraction around you, but you can even work with distraction. So let's first of all relax. Just let it go. The breath is the way to help you relax. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, think to yourself, relaxed. Do that a few times. Yeah? Let it all go. Just keep doing it. Let the in-breath comes in, and each time you, almost with a slight sigh is fine. You just let it all go. You know, let all the pressures go. This is your time. This is your time when you can be yourself. This is your time when you can be with the Spirit. This is your time that's pure and just for you. The time you can just let go. All the worries that are out there, you know, they're there and they'll still be there. But we're not worried about them now. We're going to let go. We're going to have just a little bit of time with us and the Spirit. You know, this is very important time. Small percentage of the day, but it's yours. So feel the whole body relaxing. You know, you can feel your shoulders relax, all your arms relax, the fingers and hands, the back, all the tensions at the back of the neck, all that goes, you know, that's where it all builds up, and just let it go. Or in the spinal system, feel all the internal organs even relaxing. You know, there's pressures we hold even there, just let go. You don't need it now. You can come back to it, you can be tense as much as you want later, but not now. You're just going to let all the pressure go, all the pressure off the face, for example. All those muscles in the face, even around the skull, and particularly around the eyes. Just let the pressure go around the eyes. You know, just feel them relax. Allow yourself to step into that state of relaxation. It's lovely, it's calm. It makes you feel good, actually. As the relaxation comes, you may notice your breath starts to slow down too. It becomes much more at ease, much more its natural state. Even the thoughts begin to quieten. All the emotions start to quieten. If there's any distractions outside, then just let them be part of it all, you know. Don't be distracted by anything. Just let it be. Observe the body. Observe that lovely deep relaxation you're having at the moment. Be aware of the peace that's descending over you. All the body is filled with natural, vibrant energy of peace. You're energetic and yet quiet. Full of vitality and yet at rest. All the pressures are gone. And now comfortable in the position we're in, and comfortable with the way we're sat and who we are and this moment in time, we now focus our attention to that sea of light below us. You know, I brought us here before, but we can imagine below us a fantastic sea of light. And although we're using our imagination, this is a real thing because this is the astral energy. So look down to that sea of light below. Extends to the left, to the right, in front, behind. We can see a beautiful, shining sea of light, brilliant in its luminosity, incandescency, glowing and twinkling and glittering with light. And now we bring that light up into our body. So we bring it up into the base of the spine. Feel it coming into the base of the spine. And we're pulling it up into the base of the spine. But we're going to let things happen very gently tonight. So we can just feel the energy gently percolating into our body. It's coming up as a continual flow. You know, we don't have to pull it or anything. It just naturally lifts itself into our base of our spine. And we can feel here the energy opening, that base chakra opening up. It's beginning to open and flower. And now we're going to take the light and we're going to let it take its own time. Because remember, the pranic energy, as I've said before, is intelligent. It knows what to do. It knows where to go. You don't have to worry. It'll find its way. And we allow it to go up the spine slowly in a very thin, fine line. You know, that Shushuma that I was talking about, that fine cotton thread that runs up the spine. And we let it gradually move up there. Just a very thin line that's just very bright, that gradually moves up our spine like a laser. We feel it going up the spine. Don't worry about the chakras. They're all open on themselves. We just feel it going up, up, up. And we're going to take it into the middle of the brain, right? We can feel the third eye center beginning to brighten now as that light touches that center of the brain. That is the third eye center. We feel simultaneously the forehead opening as the middle of the brain, the pituitary gland, opens up. Right? Feel that light brightening. Now keep the focus on that thin, fine line that's running between the base of the spine and into the middle of the brain. It's very thin, like a spider's web almost, like I said, like a very tiny line. And now let it get brighter and brighter and brighter. It's an eternal thing. It cannot be damaged. It cannot be harmed. It's just allow it to get brighter and brighter and brighter. Just like the filament inside of a light bulb. See the spine getting brighter and brighter and brighter so that that channel can be naturally letting that sea of light below us fill the body from below and goes up the spine, right? Let it now brighten, brighten, brighten. It gets a little bit wider now. Soften it. Don't let any pressure be on it. Just let it open on its own way. Let it filter up through the body, up through the spine, and it filters up into the middle of the brain. So you're gradually feeling your light gradually opening. You can feel yourself glowing with light from the inside, gradually awakening. Let it happen in its own way. There's no pressure with this. There's no forcing with this. It just happens in a natural unfolding of light energy. And as you're feeling the waves of light now moving up from the base of the spine into the middle of the brain, you can feel also all those chakras on the spine awakening. They're all awake. They're all naturally opening up. We don't have to focus too much on them. Just focus on that thread of light as it opens and it fills with energy. You can feel almost like a sound to it too. We can hear the sound of Om. Om as the energy goes up the spine. Om as it moves up again. Om. And now put the Om in the middle of the brain. Om. Can you feel yourself like a piano string there that's vibrating the whole of your body, the whole of your spiritual self? Let that light now move up. We go back down now, and we're going to bring the light right to the top of the head. So we take our attention now down to the light below us. Gather the light this time as a great ball of energy, like we did last time in the last session. Gather the light up and now pull it up the spine. We gradually bring it up through the base of the spine, gradually through the spine, right the way up through the navel center, through the solar plexus center as we know it, through the heart center. All these are on the spine, through the throat center on the spine, and then right into the middle of the head, and now right up above the head. So it's going above our head and opening like a great crown of light above us. Feel it opening above our head like a peacock's feather of lights, like a mandala of fantastic, luminous colours. See multiple colours there as you begin to feel your whole auric form opening too. All around your body opens up at the same time as this happens. You can feel all the energy of the chakras, but you can also feel the opening of the auric force around you too. And feel that light there, opening, opening, opening. And you can just feel the whole energy is naturally rising all the time. Sometimes you feel it in waves, sometimes it's a trickle of light, sometimes it's a great surge of light. It's coming up from the base, from the sea below, and it's coming up through the body, illuminating everything, bringing health, bringing vitality, bringing security, bringing awakening. Feel that energy rising from below. And now let's look above us, because there's a light above us as well. From the other aspect of the prana, we look above us and we let the light pour down through us now. It pours down like it's washing us clean through our body, over our body, in our spine, in our arms, in our legs, through our face. It's pouring down like a great cosmic shower of light. It's washing the body clean. It's clearing away. There's no tension left, but it's clearing away all the negativity that might have been left there within you. Any illness that has been there in the past and present is washed away. All the vibrations of the past, all the negativity that's been brought into the moment is washed away as you become clear and at peace and like an innocent soul again, clear and full of the clear light. Let that light pour down through you. And now we become aware of that whole universe of light. In front of us, we can see light. Not lights, we can see light. Endless light, infinite light. Light upon light upon light. How can there be so much light? It just goes on and on and on. And behind us, we can see light. Like we've got eyes in the back of our head, we can see in all directions. There's light going on forever. To our left, to our right, endless light. Beautiful, glittering, pure light. Above us, we can see light. Below us, we can see light. We are floating in an infinite, eternal, everlasting, infinite sea of light. This is the cosmos. This is our true being. And we allow ourselves to become one with that light. We are a being of light within a great infinity of light, and they are the same. Nothing is lost, nothing is gone, it's all still there, but it's also not there. It's one. And let yourself become at peace with that light, letting all the pressures go as you just enjoy the sheer bliss, almost like the cosmic womb, the cosmic mother. We just let go into that beautiful light, totally secure. We can sense in it the bliss of that light too. And we can sense beyond the bliss, the highest consciousness, the Sat, Chit and Ananda. Feel it there. And I'm going to ask you now just to remain in this state and enter a state of pure meditation. And as you sit in this beautiful energy, and remember our energies are helping one another as we do this, but as we sit in this wonderful energy, allow, if you feel somebody come close from the spirit, it may be somebody you know, it may be one of your guides and helpers. Let them come close, invite them to come close, and see what happens. You're perfectly at peace, you're perfectly at one with yourself. You can feel the peace, the energy, the protection of the light. There's nothing that can ever harm you in this light. And if you want, allow your guides, allow your benefactors, allow the great teachers to come close to you for a few moments. Okay, I'm going to bring us back now. I'm sure, like me, you would like to stay there for a long, long time. But obviously we're on YouTube, we can't obviously keep it going indefinitely. So gradually come on back now, please, guys. And I hope we've been able to connect a little bit. You can keep your attention in there a bit, you know, you don't have to come back fully, but you can keep your eyes closed if you want as I carry on talking here, because I've been sensing with me here that somebody's been connecting. One of you that's connecting with me live now has been very much having a sense of somebody around them who has a very religious feel to them. And I'm seeing a nun. And I feel one of you has been seeing a nun as you've been doing this meditation. And if that is the case, please put a comment. Because I feel as if you've been connecting and you've had a very strong image tonight. You've had a very strong vision there, I feel. And it's kind of been a bit of a surprise to you because you saw it as a very strong visual image, you know. So if you've seen that, do let me know, because I feel that that has somehow been connecting with you as we do this. And there's somebody, I'm not seeing your comments actually, so I'm not quite sure what's happening to the comments here, because I know we've got a lot of us here. I can't see them on my iPad here, so that's a shame. But I also feel there's one of you here has also had a lot of images there when we've been doing this of being in a jungle setting, and I don't know why that is, but I feel I want to confirm to one of you that this has been happening to you, and there's been something there happening as like you've been in almost like a jungle-like place during that meditation. So I just want to say those two things. And if we were in a normal spiritualist circle, you know, we could explore those things a little bit more. For some reason, I can't seem to see your comments on my iPad, which is a shame, because normally I can see the comments to the right. So something's happened there. Wait, here we go. I can see it. Yeah, you can't see this streaming. Okay, there might be some problems with the streaming there, but at least you've been able to hear me. So it looks like there's a little bit of complication there, maybe something with the settings. Now, normally we use a different setting because we have Domenico working in the background. So I just wanted to say that to you anyway. But hopefully that some of you have had a little bit of a sense of connecting with the spirit here, and had some sort of images and feelings. So you heard a sense of stopping the chatter. That's a nice thing that you've said there. So I see in one of the comments. Yeah, because our mind becomes so full of chatter, the internal dialogue, I call it sometimes. We have this endless internal dialogue. And yeah, so one of you, okay, so that's Carolyn, Carrie. I had a feeling it was for somebody female, because I think, Carolyn, that you struggle a little bit with the meditation, a little bit, not only because there's kind of a bit of resistance I felt from you. It's funny because we kind of can sense each other. I can feel you, guys out there. It's just like when I do a telephone reading for people, you connect with the sub-person, and when we do this together like this, you know, all of us are kind of connected, you know, not just to me, but to each other. We form a circle of light, and it's out there for all of us. So yeah, so we went to school with nuns and things like that. So it could be, I mean, Jane, my wife Jane, as you know, she went to a Catholic school, and she has a nun working with her from who she knew in life, you know, who was one of the teachers at her school, and has come back and actually given some proof sometimes that it's her. So when we get the spirit guides and helpers, you know, we not only do we get these interesting characters, but we also get people we know helping us. I don't know if I can get more of these comments up here, because I can see, okay, yes, I can see them a bit more. Sorry about this. I'm having to do it from the main screen here, because so you're getting my finger in the way of the lens. Yeah, so hopefully that's been some help to you. And it would be nice if we could perhaps later on, when we get the new studio thing, we're going to set it up so we can do video talks with you afterwards, those people who have a video camera on their machines. So the spirit guides, just one last thing about them. You know, I say, are they real or are they not? And often they can be very interesting characters. Like, you know, I've described a nun coming through to someone here, you know, and I think sometimes the spirit guides take on forms for us so that we can get to recognize them. So, like, for example, we get a lot of American Indians within spiritualism, for example, and you have to ask yourself, is that fantasy or was that real? And the American Indians apparently said that they would work with mediums, and that was their spiritual remit after they were being wiped out pretty much, and that they would act as the intermediaries with the Great Spirit, they said. So many come up. But they could also be, couldn't they? They could also be symbolic. The people in the spirit don't have form. In the highest level of spirit, we see ourselves as beings of light, and that's what we all are. Even here, we're beings of light, but we have a form, so we recognize each other. If we lived in this world just as beings of light, it could get a bit confusing. We have a physical form here. And similarly, in the spirit world, we take on a form. So the spirit guides in the spirit world, and when you see something, and it might seem unusual to you, it might be their way of saying, this is who I am. This is quite slightly more extreme than you might expect in the real world, but it gives you an idea. Yes, I've got my American Indian guide with me, or I've got my Christian guide with me, or I've got my little boy guide that works, or whatever. You know, one of the ones I tend to have is a clown, right? And and the clown doesn't work with me all the time, but when I'm on the stage, he'll be there. You know, and he's told me, and he's told through other mediums as well, and given me many messages to say, what I do is find all the false teeth jokes in the audience, right? And it's amazing the number of stories that have come through with false teeth. You know, women that cut the pastry on the pies with their false teeth that, you know, weren't buried with the person that wasn't buried with their false teeth. People that used to joke, put their false teeth in upside down. I mean, the number of stories and jokes that come through like that, and it's not something I think about. But the guides have this way, so they keep the humour going. For example, he does, but he appears as a clown, you know, which seems completely bonkers to have Bozo the Clown type of character there when you're doing something so serious as proving life after death. But it lightens it, you know. And there's many over there that will help you. And you will find that your spirit guides will begin to identify themselves to you, and you'll begin to understand that they do tend to each have a bit of a role. Some might help with healing, some might help. Well, for example, today I've had one of my friends that used to be in this world. He died of drugs, and he set himself on fire and had terrible things. And he came through a number of mediums through me in the past saying he'd work with me, and I find he comes through, for example, if I'm working with anybody that's suicidal, or anybody that is in, you know, or had a major drug problems. So he acts that's his duty now, he feels, to help with that. So the guides have a purpose, and hopefully when we go into this meditation, all things are possible, you know, and we awaken both personally and we become more mediumistically attuned. So I'm going to start to close now, folks. And what we have to do, it's important that we also close ourselves down afterwards, you know, because now you can probably feel yourself as being much, much more sensitive than you would normally be. Now, if you were to go straight from this meditation, straight into the street, or even go talk to your friends or your wife at home or whoever's with you, you know, you'd be a bit oversensitive, you know, and you might even get moody and snappy because you are open. So you have to actually pull it in now. You pull this aura back in again and quieten it down, right? So let's now do that. And when we finish that, I'm just gonna first do a little bit of a healing thought because we've still got plenty of energy here. So I'm going to do a healing thought and then close us down. Okay, so this is where we go. So if you just join with me again and become comfortable again, connect with me again, right? Okay, now we're going to send a healing thought, you know, and I know that people clap for the carers, don't they? And they clap for the carers tonight. So we're going to send our thoughts out to all those people who are fighting for us on the front line with these dreadful viruses out there. But generally for those, you know, because, you know, people will come back to this video in time when it's all over. You know, let's send it to those people that are doing good work. Let's send it to those people, particularly that are healing, that the hands of the doctors, the hands of the nurses, that all those that are there protecting the world and protecting us that can sit here meditating while they protect us from this virus. Let us send our thoughts to them, you know, a spiritual clap really it is, you know. We're sending our thoughts, we're sending our healing energy to those workers, that through each of them, their hands can also heal, that they may become healers of the light, you know, and some will be open to us and will sense that. So we imagine a great light pouring through all those people. We see all those nurses and doctors and people that are working on the front line. We see them as being filled with light, as beings of light. Each of them as being a healer. Each of them having the magic touch that can help those patients in their charge to become well and to get through this. Let's then send our excess energy to them now. And now we come back to here and now. Okay. And we're going to let our centers close down. Now you remember that we leave the crown center open and close that last. Okay. So first of all, we see the energy around the third eye and inside the middle of the brain. It gradually begins to quieten down. Let it quieten. Become still. And now we let the light on that spinal column, you remember it was bright, now we let it go quiet again. All that Shushuma, that thin line up the spine, now it just becomes quieter, quieter, quieter. We see the light drop down that spine, you know. We can come back to this energy anytime we want, you know, but for now we need to let it become quiet and at rest again. We can't be on this exalted state all the time. And we let the light drop down the spine. We feel the energy of the body pulling back in again, and the base of the spine now becomes quiet and still. It doesn't close completely, the base of the spine. There's always a light there, but we let it just become still and quiet. Now the top of the head is still open. So we see above us again, that great brilliant light above. And we let it pour down through the body. Let it pour down through the hands, through the torso, out at the fingertips, out at the toes, washing us clean within, like a beautiful energetic light. And we're going to fill ourselves with that light. So we have some light with us when we take it away. So we fill our feet like a liquid light, filling up the body, filling up the legs, filling up the torso, filling up the hands, the arms, filling the whole body like it's filling beautifully with this brilliant light, liquid light that pours into us and fills us right up through the chest, through the neck, until the whole head is now filled with light and we're overflowing like a vessel of light. We're absolutely full of beautiful light, but it's within us. It's not expanding, it's within us. And now we close the center at the top of the head, that open fan, that crown I talk about. We see that now fold up. It closes down. We feel it all come back down again. And you know, the lens closes like we could see it as a fan closing. And the mandala wraps up and becomes back into the body. We feel ourselves in a normal state of a consciousness, but fully energized. And just as a final thing, we imagine we've got a beautiful warm cloak or blanket that we wrap all over ourselves, that we just pull it all in again. It's as if we just wrap ourselves up and just make sure we pull that auric frame in just a little bit so we can come back to normal, settled consciousness, ordinary state of mind again. But now we feel very energetic within, we feel peaceful within, we feel at ease with ourselves. And I hope you've enjoyed that, and I thank you for joining me tonight for this meditation. A little bit of a nuisance that we've lost some of the comments, but you can always put your comments in the comments below after the video's process, and I'll come back and comment again to you. Okay, well, thank you for joining me again, and I hope that was of some help to you tonight, and I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll do another one hopefully next week for you. Okay, bye for now then.